How has COVID affected Yorkshire Housing? And I guess what plans have you made to put in place to support home workers?
Yeah, and I think this links back to the conversation we had earlier, which is around one of the things that's changed is that I'd already started to roll out agile working for our colleagues. So by pure chance, that was a program that had been ongoing for 6 months, but by pure chance, the week before lockdown was initiated, we'd pretty much were just finalising the final phase of the rollout of devices to colleagues. So we were in a really positive position, and I literally remember leaving the office on Friday the 20th of March and turning to a couple of people who I was in my last meeting of that day, and saying, well, I'll see you all again in July. And they all looked at me like I was stupid. And it was like, well, we're not going to be around for. Little did I know that wouldn't be the case. And I think if you take the whole sort of lockdown and pandemic thing, for me, you can go one or two ways on it. You can either do the glass half empty or the glass half full view of it. And my view of it is you've got to look at this and go, right, there are some opportunities out of what has been a dreadful set of circumstances for so many people. I'm not trying in any way to belittle that. But what it has done for us as a business is that it's like we've gone in a TARDIS and we've gone forward to 2023. So as part of our agile working project, we had a plan that was the next phase, which would then move people to enable them to be completely and utterly, truly agile and work anywhere and negate the need for an office in the traditional sense. And we thought that would be 2023. In the first 5 weeks of lockdown, we got to that point. So psychologically, our teams and our people, the overwhelming message that we got back from them was, yeah, we don't want to be working at home 5 days a week because, for many people, it's a difficult environment. But actually people said, I don't want to go back to working in an office. And now really see the value of being able to be flexible in terms of what that offers for me as an employee, but also how I can improve the service offer for customers. But also, many people have now got used to saving a shed load of money not commuting, whether that's driving and parking or public transport, or as I call it, transpennine excuses. There's no need for any of that. But also it's the time. And many people have said, like me, I for over the last 4 months have had tea most nights with my family, and that hasn't been the case for many years. And I'm smiling now because that's a real positive for me. That's a real value add to my life. I'm not sure my kids think that. My kids are 16 and 18, so I think they just think, God, can't we send him back? We've had enough of him lingering around. But I think that whole sort of change in lifestyle and change in expectations, and I think as we go forward, I do think that how we recruit, but also people lose sight of retaining really good people. And I think the employee offer, and particularly the flexibility that employers are able to offer, will be as important, and possibly in some cases more important, than paying the highest salary. And so I think as a recruitment offer, but also as a retention strategy, I think having a completely agile workforce is the way forward. And from a customer point of view, it's just a world apart from where we were even in March, where we still had quite a traditional sort of 8:30 to 5 type service, whereas now we've got that enhanced amount of flexibility as people are able to flex their home life with also being able to provide a much better service offer. So I think the whole and that's now got us to the point where we're saying, well, why is it that we need the premises that we had in Leeds City Centre, so 4 floors in Leeds City Centre that we own? Why do we need that going forward? Because actually 2 floors of that now, I can tell you, are completely mothballed. We'll never go back to that way of working. And in fact, the top floor is just full of desks and chairs. So If anybody out there wants to do a deal on some desks and chairs, I'm all ears. We'll do you a nice little deal on. We'll even blow the dust off them for you. But I think so I think the way that people work has changed. And so what I mean about talking about not having a traditional office environment, you know, my thing is about having space where people come together to collaborate and to create ideas and to actually gain energy, and almost like a boost, if you want, of energy. A bit like when I pop a Barocca, you know, it does exactly the same for me. But I think that, and I would say, you know, in a traditional work sense, I never had a good idea sat in a glass box around the table with 8 other people. You know, it's about how do you create an environment that fits the business. And you know, we want to be one of the most dynamic, forward-thinking, innovative housing associations in the country. And I would say to do that and to deliver against that, that will never happen if we chain people to a desk for 8 hours a day to tap away at a keyboard just so that we can see them, and it makes us feel good that we can see them. Indeed, one of the other benefits coming out of lockdown is that we have never been more productive as a business than we are now. So this whole thing that people have around, you know, oh, well, everybody's just sat at home watching Cash in the Attic or whatever else, it's just complete nonsense. In fact, the biggest challenge we've got from a people perspective at the moment is stopping people from working. So we've got too many people who are working too hard for too long. And actually what we're trying to do is to ensure that we have some systems in place to try and help people break that cycle.